I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Raton City Commission. We have a roll call, please, my friend.
Mayor Mance.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagata.
Present.
Commissioner Chavez.
Present.
Commissioner Giacomo.
Present.
Commissioner Schuster.
Present.
Thank you. Could y'all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I thank you all for showing up tonight, this special meeting. A couple of things here. We have the notice of potential quorum. Quorum of the City Commissioners may attend the 29th Annual Reception and Municipal Day to be held in Santa Fe at the La Fonda Hotel. That is February 1st and 2nd. The next regular commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 13th, 6 p.m. here in the chambers. Is there anyone wishing to address the commission right now before we start the business? Seeing none, we'll move into the business part of the meeting. Item A, public hearing, restaurant, beer, and wine liquor license application for the Ice House LLC located at 945 South 2nd Street. Mr. Berry.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a letter in front of you in your packet from the New Mexico Regulation and Licensing Department, Alcohol and Gaming Division, and I'll read this preliminary part. It's pretty clear what the action proposes for tonight. It states that the Director of the Alcohol and Gaming Division has reviewed the referenced application and granted preliminary approval. That application is for a beer and wine license for Ice House Restaurant, and the applicant is Ice House LLC. That's the restaurant located at 945 South 2nd Street here in Raton. Well, the law states that within 45 days after the receipt of a notice from Alcohol and Gaming Division, the governing body shall hold a public hearing in the question of whether the department should approve the proposed issuance or transfer. We recognize the potential for conflict between the requirement for publication of the 30-day notice and the 45-day hearing requirement. We've met those requirements, and so we will skip over that section. However, the governing body shall notify the Alcohol and Gaming Division of their decision to approve or disapprove the issuance or the transfer of the license by signing the enclosed original page 1 of the application. So the action proposed here, as stated, would be your approval, City Commission approval, of the proposed restaurant, beer, and liquor license with on-premises consumption only with patio service for the Ice House Restaurant.
Oh, thank you. Looks like all the paperwork is together.
Well, and Mayor Pro Tem, we do have this in two components on the agenda. So component A is a public hearing.
Right.
Any public input may be taken, and then we'll deliberate and act on the application.
So is there anyone wishing to speak out about this subject right now? This is a public hearing. Okay. We'll move on to item B then, which is to deliberate and act on restaurant, beer, and wine liquor license application for the Ice House located at 945 South 2nd Street.
Seeing that all papers are in order and there's no objection, I'll move to approve the beer and wine liquor license application for the Ice House LLC.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the liquor license application for the White House, or the White House.
It happens all the time.
For the Ice House. Maybe I'm thinking about that bigger speech tonight, I don't know. Anyway, for the Ice House, is there any further discussion on this matter?
One thing is that, which was good, that the planning and zoning from the fire department was included in this. They met all standards, so that's all I have to say.
All righty. Any other comments? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Schuster?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Commissioner Commissioner Giacomo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagata?
Yes.
Mayor Nance?
Yes.
Motion stands approved. Alrighty. Item C, deliberate and act on RFP award of engineering services at the Raton Cruise Field Airport. Mr. Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Excuse me,
Mayor-
before we go on, since they're not, it's all done, you guys are free to leave, you won't have to.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
Good luck.
Jesse, we will be overnighting this to Alcohol and Gaming tomorrow, so we'll get the signatures, and then I have to include copies of our legal ad and that for them, but we'll send it out tomorrow.
Excellent, thank you all very much,
You
appreciate
bet.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Commissioner. And Mr. Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor and Commission, as we stated at the last meeting, the staff has issued a request for proposals for engineering services and general services for our municipal airport work. Under this item, we fall under the requirements of Federal Aviation Administration as well as the New Mexico Aviation Division. So generally, we would have a limit of 4 years on this type of agreement. So we, 4 years ago, did do an agreement. Molson Corbin in that time has been our engineer for airport issues, and that time period is up, so we requested proposals. We followed the state procurement in which it's a qualification-based selection. And generally what that means is, in the proposals, we really don't consider the cost of the engineering services until a later time when we talk about a specific item that's written up in a service authorization or a task order, which would come to the commission for your consideration, and this would be on a project-by-project basis, and we would anticipate over the next 4 years. So in accordance with the procurement requirements, a committee was formed to rank and rate the proposals. 4 proposals were received. The committee did their work and they independently graded those. Those were turned over to our procurement officer, which is Michael Ann Antonucci. So I will let Ms. Antonucci talk about the outcome of the rating process.
Mayor and Commission, as the city manager described the process that was followed, I did tally up and average the scores of the 4 committee members on that committee. And you will see that Molson Corbin got the highest score of the 4. So the recommendation to the commission this evening would be to award a contract to Molson Corbin, and that would be a 4-year contract for engineering services for the Cruise Field Airport.
All righty, thank you. So we have a recommendation to award the contract to Molson Corbin for 4 years.
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Item D, deliberate and act on resolution 2018-7, authorizing and approving financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority for police vehicle purchase financing. Mr. Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor and Commission, we have for several years been seeking funding for the replacement of police vehicles. And as you can imagine, the police fleet is under some heavy-duty service. They're out there a lot. The job demands reliable fleet, and we're just at the point in some vehicles that they've got to be replaced. So if you remember last year, we had gone to the legislature with a request for capital outlay. There actually was no capital outlay last year, so nothing was considered, but that was not funded. This year we have worked on a method of funding those that's a little more reliable, and that is purchasing 3 police vehicles and financing those vehicles, the purchase of those through New Mexico Finance Authority, and paying that debt service through our law enforcement protection fund allocation. So I have asked Chief Garcia to come tonight. Chief Garcia, if you could come forward, tell us a little bit more about the proposal here to purchase these vehicles.
Yes, so we received 3 bids for 2 Chargers and 1 Dodge Ram pickup truck, 4-door, which would come in under the restriction that they've given us through NMFA, under the 82,000 and some change. Is that correct, Michael?
Yes, this loan would be for $82,620 is the loan.
Would be just under that with the purchase of the 3 vehicles. The good thing is we're not using our LEPF funds this year for payment towards the loan, so we'll have that money available for outfitting of these units. We'll be able to outfit 4 Chargers, get 2 of them on the street, 2 of them will be administrative vehicles, and the truck will be a K9 unit, which is desperately needed, so.
So you're actually not getting 4 vehicles?
No, sir, just the 3. 2 of the admin vehicles will go down to the street, so
Oh,
we'll be able
okay,
to push
okay.
out
I got you,
our Durangos, which are in poor shape. and
Gotcha.
12 years old, so.
got you.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, the anticipated action on the agenda tonight is your consideration of Resolution 2018-07. This is a lengthy document that would be required to proceed with the financing arrangement with New Mexico Finance Authority. Again, our city treasurer has extensively worked with the Finance Authority in getting to this point, setting up the loan, and you'll see terms for an intercept payment, and that would be that Law Enforcement Protection Fund. But Michael Ann, I don't know if you would make any comments in regard to the action or the resolution.
I just wanted to reiterate what the chief just said. We would be using LEPF funds from our fiscal year 19 allocation, so that our first payment wouldn't be due until the next fiscal year. So the funds that we receive for this fiscal year would be used for outfitting those units.
Sounds great.
And once again, the loan amount is $82,620, and the loan agreement does specify that, and this is an intercept, so they go ahead and intercept the funds directly to the Finance Authority and then give us the balance of the funds.
Michael Ann, we were talking about a 4-year term.
Yeah, there's several loan documents that we'll have to sign, but the only one requiring the city commission's approval is this resolution. So we'll be signing the resolution, a loan agreement, an intercept agreement. There's a general and no litigation certificate, an arbitrage and tax certificate, and another IRS form 8038 GC, and a delivery deposit and cross receipt certificate. So this is the entire loan package. So with the approval of the resolution, we would be executing all of these documents.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2018-07.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2018-07, authorizing and approving the financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority for police vehicle purchase and financing. Is there any further discussion? Michael Ann, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Giacomo,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuster,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagata.
Yes.
And Mayor Mance.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
All right, Commissioner, thank you.
Stay with us, Chief.
Stay here. Item E, deliberate and act on resolution 2018-08, disposal of surplus property, dispatch consoles. Mr. Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor and Commission, under this item, we had talked previously about grant funds that Carol Baca and Chief Garcia had been involved in upgrading our dispatch center. This item is related to disposal of the old equipment, and Chief, I'll let you generally describe the action here and the upgrade of dispatch.
The old equipment was in poor shape when we received it from Albuquerque Police Department, so Carol continued to look for funds to get new equipment. She was able to get that taken care of through DFA. The old equipment, which was some of the parts were being held up by bricks, or they're ready to go. So they're not going to help another agency. They're not salvageable. The new equipment is being erected as we speak. They've got one side completed, and it's coming out really nice. It's brand new equipment, so it's coming out really nice.
Cool.
Good.
Very good. Any other questions for anybody?
No questions.
Nope.
Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve resolution 2018-08.
No second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2018-08 concerning the disposal of old dispatch consoles owned by the city of Raton. Is there any further discussion?
None.
All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Good.
Item F, deliberate and act on municipal election precinct board appointments, proposed compensation. Mr. Berry?
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor and Commission, we are coming up quickly on the March 6, 2018 municipal election date. Michael Ann Antonucci, our clerk treasurer, has made a lot of preparations and put in a lot of time in preparing for the municipal election, and I am going to let her describe in some detail the proposed action for this item.
Mayor and Commission, in your packet this evening is our proposed list of precinct workers that would work the convention center, polling place, and parish hall, and then also the absentee, which is located here in the city clerk's office. So you have the list of names of those that would be the presiding judge. We have 2 judge clerks, a clerk translator, and 2 alternates at Convention Center and Parish Hall, and then presiding judge, 2 clerks, and 2 alternates for the absentees. So we're proposing the compensation that is listed there for each. And also, we did budget some additional funds this year to allow to pay an additional $10 for them to attend the election school, which is scheduled for February 28th at 2 p.m. And so, you know, we appreciate the people that do volunteer to do this for us. It is a long day. They have to be present from 6 a.m. usually until about 8 p.m., sometimes a little bit later, and they're not allowed to leave the precinct until the day is over. So it is quite a long day, and you know, it's just important to know that the day of the election, we're not running the election, they're actually running the election for us and handling all of that, so that you know, the returns, everything is tallied and done correctly and turned into us later in the evening. So I would recommend approval of these precinct workers and the proposed compensation is listed.
All righty, thank you, Michael Ann. Any further comments or questions for Michael Ann? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve municipal election precinct board appointment proposed compensation.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the precinct board appointments and the proposed compensation plan. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Had a senior moment there. Locked up. Item G, deliberate and act on resolution 2018-09, fiscal year 18 budget adjustment number 7. Michael Ann, Mr. Berry.
I'll just make one comment, then I'll turn this over to Michael Ann under the item relating to fund sanitation. I will let the commission know that as a follow-up to your action on the solid waste ordinance and then resolution setting fees for scrap tires, over the years we have accumulated quite a few scrap tires at our transfer site, the current transfer site. Just a quick estimate would be in excess of 12,000 scrap tires, and so that would relate to funding that we would use to dispose of scrap tires. And I can tell you that most communities have issues with scrap tires. They're not easy to get rid of. Jason Phillips in Solid Waste has worked extensively to try to set up a system to dispose of these tires. There are more people looking to get rid of tires than there are people looking to accept them, and so that is related to that item. Upon your approval, we think that we can effectively get those tires taken care of and recycled.
All righty, thank you.
Mayor and Commission, the other items, under the first item there, that's for the community kitchen equipment, so we're in the process of purchasing that equipment. I'm not sure how quickly the USDA grant will turn around a reimbursement request, so I'm requesting a temporary transfer so that we can pay the vendors, and then pending the receipt of the reimbursement from USDA, and then we would reimburse those funds back to the general fund. So hopefully we can turn that around quickly. We still have a few pieces of kitchen equipment that we're waiting on, but I would say probably within the next month, all of it will be purchased, and then we can submit for reimbursement from USDA.
Very good.
And then the other item was just a line item transfer to move some monies into the training and travel for the aquatics center. With that, I'd request approval of resolution 2018-09.
I'll move to,
Adjustment 7.
I'll move to approve resolution 2018-09 FY18 budget adjustment 7.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2018-09, budget adjustment number 7, fiscal year 18. Is there any further discussion? Michael Ann, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Schuster?
Yes.
Commissioner Giacomo?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagata?
Yes.
Mayor Mance?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Item H, city manager's report, Mr. Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem, I will just dispense with the city manager report and get you caught up at the regular February 13th meeting, if that's all right with the commission.
I was looking forward to your report, Mr. Barry. That's all right. Is there any other business, anything that needs to be discussed this evening?
I have nothing.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.